Hello, welcome back to the Marc Drouinaud Show, the tech show about hacking. In this video, I'm going to go over Amazon's newly released software called CodeWhisperer. Programmers are going to want to know this. The cybersecurity sphere is going to want to know this. Let's get right into it. We're going dark. What is CodeWhisperer? CodeWhisperer is an AI coding companion that generates real-time, single-line or full-function code suggestions in your integrated development environment (IDE) to help you quickly build software. With CodeWhisperer, you can write a comment in natural language that outlines a specific task in English, such as upload a file with server-sided encryption.
No way!
Based on this information, CodeWhisperer recommends one or more code snippets directly in the IDE that can accomplish the task. You can quickly and easily accept the top suggestion, the tab key, view more suggestions, arrow keys, or continue writing your own code. You should always review a code suggestion before accepting them, and you may need to edit it to ensure it does exactly what you intended. Why should I or you use CodeWhisperer? CodeWhisperer helps accelerate software development by providing code suggestions that reduce total development effort and allow more time for ideation, complex problem solving, and writing differentiated code. In addition to generate purpose code suggestions, CodeWhisperer has additional training to provide code suggestions for using AWS APIs.
Hey, that's pretty good.
CodeWhisperer can also help you improve application security by helping detect and remediate security vulnerabilities. So how does CodeWhisperer work? As you are writing code, CodeWhisperer analyzes the English language comments and surrounding code to infer what code is needed to complete the task at hand. CodeWhisperer suggests one or more code snippets directly in the code editor, accelerating you as you code. The code suggestions provided by CodeWhisperer are based on a large language models, LLMs, trained on billions of lines of code, including Amazon and open source code. You can quickly and more easily accept the top suggestion, the tab key, view more suggestions, arrow keys, or continue writing your own code. Always review code suggestions before accepting it, and you may need to edit it to ensure that it does exactly what you intended. What does CodeWhisperer collect to provide code suggestions? Amazon CodeWhisperer uses your content such as code snippets, comments, cursor location, and contents from files open in the IDE as inputs to provide code suggestions. So how can you get started with CodeWhisperer? I'm glad you asked. CodeWhisperer is available by default on AWS Cloud9 and AWS Lambda console. Also, go on the Amazon website for more information on how to get started. What guidelines can developers follow to get better results from CodeWhisperer? Glad you asked. CodeWhisperer works most efficiently when developer comments are short and mapped to smaller discrete tasks so that no single function or code block is too long. Similarly, CodeWhisperer can generate helpful code suggestions when developers use intuitive names for various code elements, such as function names. The more code that is available as surrounding context, the better the suggestion will be. As someone who's going to use this, can you turn off auto suggestions? The answer is yes. You can pause auto suggestions, the CodeWhisperer section of the Developer Tools panel in the AWS Toolkit. Auto suggestions will remain paused until you resume them. The manually trigger CodeWhisperer uses Option plus C, which is the macOS, or Alt plus C, which is Windows. What are code scanning capability of CodeWhisperer? You can scan your Python, Java, and JavaScript code using the code scanning capability for hard to find vulnerabilities, such as those in the top 10 Open Worldwide Application Security Project, OWASP, or those that don't meet crypto library best practices and other similar security best practices. Once it identifies security vulnerabilities, CodeWhisperer also provides suggestions on how to fix them. How much does CodeWhisperer cost? CodeWhisperer Individual is free to use by creating and signing in with an AWS Builder ID. The sign-up process only takes a few minutes and does not require a credit card or an AWS account. CodeWhisperer Professional is $19 per user per month and provides administrators the ability to enable CodeWhisperer for their organization with single sign-on, also known as SSO, authentication. Administrators can more easily integrate CodeWhisperer with their existing workforce identity solutions, provide access to users and groups, and configure organization-wide settings, such as including or excluding suggestions with code references. So, you can see the Amazon CodeWhisperer pricing for details on their website. So, in which AWS region is CodeWhisperer available? CodeWhisperer is AWS region agnostic and available to developers worldwide. CodeWhisperer is currently hosted in IAD, the US East, North Virginia region. If you have IAM Identity Center in other regions, non-IAD, as CodeWhisperer Professional Administrator, you can configure CodeWhisperer as an authorized cross-region application. What is the CodeWhisperer's reference number? The CodeWhisperer reference tracker detects whether a code suggestion might be similar to a particular CodeWhisperer open source training data. The reference tracker can flag such suggestions with a repository URL and project license information, or optionally filter them out. You can then more easily find and review the referenced code and see how it is used in the context of another project before deciding to use it. All references are logged for you to review later to ensure that your code flow is not disturbed and you can keep coding without interruption. Who owns the code generated by CodeWhisperer? Just like your IDE, you own the code that you write, including any code suggestions provided by CodeWhisperer. You are responsible for the code that you write, including the CodeWhisperer suggestions that you accept. Always review the code suggestions before accepting them, and you may need to make edits to ensure that the code does exactly what you intended. That's the third time we said this, so please make sure that you keep that into account. Does CodeWhisperer only work in the English language? CodeWhisperer was trained on various data sources, including Amazon and open source code. CodeWhisperer has been trained and validated to generate code suggestions from English language comments. Given the variety of examples in the training dataset, it is possible that CodeWhisperer may provide code suggestions from comments written in non-English languages. However, this is not supported use case. Will CodeWhisperer Professional reproduce my private code? The answer is no. Content processed by CodeWhisperer Professional, such as code snippets, comments, and contents from files open in the IDE, is not stored or used to train the model, and therefore will never be reproduced in a code suggestion for another user. Okay, so that is Amazon's AWS's CodeWhisperer. It's gonna get better. I don't know how it's gonna change the programming or the coding industry. So stay tuned. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I love you. Stay safe. See you on the next video.